Okay, so this is me, all about me. That is me. I was born in Georgia in 1985. Parents were big Braves fans. So again, born in Georgia. I moved from Georgia to Denver in 3rd grade, lived 1 year in Denver, and then moved into Lake Oswego, grew up in Lake Oswego, Oregon, right outside of Portland, 3rd grade through high school. And then in 2003, when I graduated from high school, I actually represented the United States at the World Championships in Russia. I was able to do that by winning the national championships for the junior category 17 to 18-year-olds. So the type of racing I did actually was on the velodrome, on the track with the fixed gears where you go on the banked corners. So got to go to Russia in 2003 and live at the Olympic Training Center actually for a year. So again, born in June 5th, 1985, first child. This is my younger sister here, kind of tough to see. This is right after I won the national championship. My parents decorated the whole yard, and it's pretty cool. There's my parents right here, obviously. And then that's my sister and I about 6-7 years ago. We've moved a lot. So we are the type of people who we like adventure. So we've lived here for going on 3 years now. We lived in Portland for 5 years, moved back and forth. So we've been all over the place. We like moving. Careers. So as I said earlier, I loved sports. So I grew up in sports. I grew up in cycling. Basically, after I was done cycling, I blew both my knees out. I went to the Olympic trials for 2004. Both my knees were shot. And at that point, I couldn't race anymore. So I naturally wanted to go into sports. Sports is incredibly hard to get into. So I started a job with the Los Angeles Clippers. It was a grunt job, making about 120 phone calls a day. And this was before Chris Paul, before Blake Griffin. So you guys that know the Clippers, this was the Donald Sterling hell years. So most of the time you'd call people, you'd say, I work for the Los Angeles Clippers, click, hang up. So you were doing really well in this job if you're making one sale a week. So I did very well in the job. And basically, if you could sell that, you could sell anything. So you basically had my pick of jobs around the country. So the Portland Timbers soccer team, as you can see down here, this was one of the best days of my life. It was amazing. It was such a cool day. It was opening day. And the Portland Timbers were in the lower division of soccer. And they were about to go to the MLS, which is the top division. So I started with them about 9 months before they went to the top division, helped with that transition going from the lower division to the upper division. And I did all their corporate group sales. So all the party decks, suites, corporate groups, things like that. So a lot of my big events I did, for example, were with Nike and Intel, where I would do 400 to 500 person events, where I would handle everything from the catering to the sales to the on-field everything. So that was a really fun job. I really enjoyed it. So with that job, though, I sold out 3 seasons in a row and was told I had about a 94-95% retention rate and was told they didn't need me anymore. So I found Gravity Payments and decided I wanted to find a job that I couldn't sell myself out of. So started with Gravity Payments 5.5 years ago. So funny story, how I met my wife. She was actually the best friend of a girl I dated my freshman year of college. So she actually came out to visit her friend. We met, became friends. After this other girl, Valerie and I broke up. Kelly and I stayed friends and ended up dating a couple years later. That was 2003, and it was about 6 months ago that Valerie finally told my wife that she was okay with it. So took a while, but she finally got around to it. So kind of a funny story. So she's an RN at Mayo, and she is very, very good at her job. She loves being a nurse. Again, we started dating in 2009, married in 2011. So we got married at Skamania Lodge in the Columbia Gorge. So we did a destination wedding. It's this big lodge. It's about an hour and a half from Portland. We had a very small wedding. I think it was about 45, 50 people. But everybody came, everyone flew in, everyone stayed at this hotel. So it was a really good time. You can see a couple pictures of it. One of the things we did, though, is after the next day, everybody went whitewater rafting. So we got everyone to go out whitewater rafting. We had like 7 or 8 boats, and it was a blast. So this is my Lexi Lou. This is everything for me. I never knew I really wanted to be a dad.
Love the name Lou.
Yes. And everyone does call her Lexi Lou, too. It's definitely what she goes by. She is amazing. She is so smart. She's just a joy to be around. One of those kids who everyone just says she is just so happy. So she is our everything. Again, more pictures. We're actually going over to California tomorrow, and we're going to Disneyland on Friday. She is like the ultimate princess. She loves anything princess-like. So we're taking her over to Disney on Friday for her first time. You see this is her Halloween costume this year. She's going to be a little witch. She watches this show that has a witch on it, and she likes to hex everything, and it's the funniest thing in the world. So there's a couple trips up to Sedona, her with her bike, obviously. So she is our everything, obviously. So currently, we're doing lots of, we weren't able to go on vacation, obviously. When you have a little kid, it's hard to go on vacation. So we've been doing a lot of vacations lately. Again, we're in Denver last week, or 2 weeks ago. We're going up to Encinitas tomorrow. One of the things my daughter and I do is since she was about 6-8 months, we've been going to Starbucks almost every day. Most of the time, we don't even get anything. We just go and sit. She's gotten to know everybody at the Starbucks, all these regulars, and she calls it her like second family. So she wants to go see her friends every morning. So this was actually last week, 2 weeks ago. We got to go to the Rapids Timbers game up in Colorado. They lost. Wasn't a good day, but we had a really good time, so that was fun. And then bottom right, that was her first day at the beach. So a little bit about the company I work for, Gravity Payments. We created to help the little guy who was being overcharged for credit card processing. Our big thing is we're devoted to transparency. We want to make it simple. We don't charge statement fees. We don't charge batch fees. We don't charge any monthly fees. None of those upfront fees. We want everyone to know what they're paying and where it's going to. The owner, Dan Price, I don't know if any of you have heard of him. He's won tons of awards. He's on the front of Inc. magazine, on the front of Entrepreneur. What we did is we announced a $70,000 pay raise. So everybody at Gravity Payments has a minimum salary right now of $50,000. They go to $60,000 of December this year and $70,000 December of next year. When we made that announcement, it was, I don't know, how many of you guys heard about that? Yeah, so a fair amount of people heard about it. We got thousands of job resumes and thousands of new clients. It was the craziest 3 months I have ever had. Everyone was working 60, 70-hour weeks, but it was incredible. It was really cool. So next page. Oh wait, go back one actually again. One of the things the company does too is we do a lot as a company. So this was actually a trip I went on to San Diego about 2 or 3 years ago. We actually donate 10% of our profits back to charity. So everybody in the company also gets $1,000 around the holidays to donate to any charity of their choice in their name. Okay, so since the $70,000 minimum salary, we have heard a lot from the media, positive and negative, obviously. Most of it positive. But one of the biggest things we've had is had increased retention within the company. Obviously, everyone wants to stay, and it's hard to leave a job like that. And then Gravity does donate 10% of its profits back to charity. And then some ideal referrals for me. Obviously, restaurants are great. I work with a lot of restaurants. That's kind of my niche that I work in a lot. Probably about 70% of my business is restaurants. I also do a lot of retail. And then hotels are great for me also. And then business to business. Not a lot of people realize that we do that, but we do a lot of business to business sales. E-commerce, of course, and then I do a lot with associations. So I just wanted to end with a quote. People do business with people because they choose to, not because they have to. We can always find others doing the same thing or selling the same product. It's the personal connection that makes the difference.